2.5 years ago, I walked the length of Lapland. Hello, mate. Good boy. What do you want? What do you want? What you got? 2.5 years ago, I walked the length of Lapland, 1,200 kilometers across the Arctic Circle region of mainland Europe. My intention was to film the wildlife and natural habitats, whilst also challenging myself on a big adventure. What I didn't expect was how much of an impact the kindness of strangers actually had on keeping my morale and motivation up and my spirits high. When I started at the most northern point of mainland Europe, hiking south through Norway, Finland and Sweden. And the first 10 days, I didn't see a single person. So I was hiking every day. Occasionally I'd see some footprints and tracks on the trails. But yeah, I didn't see a single person. And then I bumped into two Norwegian 84-year-old men hiking in the mountains. One of them had a rucksack full of beer and the other one had a rucksack full of food. I think because I hadn't seen anyone for 10 days, they were quite keen to point out that it's polite in Norway to have small conversations in the mountains, but it's unusual to talk for as long as we did. But throughout the whole trip, people made a massive impact on my spirits. By the time I made it to Kautokeino, the capital of Sápmi, the capital of the indigenous people of Europe, the Sami people, I stayed with a couple who took me in and not only gave me amazing home-cooked food, fish fresh from the lakes, they did something called drum travel. They took me into a cove and one of them played a large reindeer skin drum. And we kind of meditated and we had this almost spiritual evening, which was incredible. It was really moving, actually. And the guy there, who was one of the Sami guys, he taught me which of the mushrooms that I could forage safely, which ones tasted best, more importantly, as well, that I could forage from the forest there. And he also gave me this traditional homemade fishing kit, which is basically a can with a bit of wood and the line tied to the top of it, which you could just throw out and pull back in the hope I never caught fish, but the thought was there. I did get mushrooms though, cooked some amazing, they called them stensops, they were incredible. There was one significant part of the trip where a few storms rolled in and completely ruined my night's sleep. So throughout the trip I was carrying about 28 to 30 kilos on my back. So I had everything in there, the food that I was eating, water that I was filling up from the lakes, and all my camping kit and spare clothes in case I got wet. The storms rolled in and as you can imagine, I was tired every single evening hiking through the mountains. And there was this one time where the storms hit so hard that I didn't get a single minute of sleep that night. The tent was just slamming into my face. Water was coming in from underneath. It was a bit of a disaster. And by the time the sun came up and the storm calmed the next day, I was completely exhausted, slowly trudging my way over this mountain edge, wishing that I could stop. I didn't want to give up, but I almost felt like it at times. And then I got to this mountain hut where a family, the son, father and grandfather, were staying in this remote mountain hut in the middle of this forest inhabited by bear, wolverine and lynx. And I sat outside, started to make myself a brew, and the father came out and started talking to me and asked me what I was doing. And upon hearing of my adventure, they cooked a stew for me, reindeer stew. Now I'm vegetarian and vegan, but when I'm traveling and in these circumstances, I put that to one side because you can't turn away kindness. I think it would be rude not to. to accept when someone's offering you something like that. They cooked me this incredible reindeer stew, and the grandfather, he couldn't speak much English, but he did tell me that this restaurant was better than any you'd find in London, and I think he's absolutely right. There's no way you could get that view anywhere in London, and the food was great as well. And we sat outside in the sun. They made me a coffee and gave me the last bits of this dark chocolate, which was so lovely. And this moment just completely changed my spirits. I left that hut after lunch with a massive smile on my face, and it just motivated me to carry on. Absolutely wonderful. And for some reason, when I did come across people, there were a lot of Snickers, the Snicker bars that were very popular. I probably ate about 200 Snickers bars. People seemed happy to get rid of them and offload them onto me for some reason. But I kept, someone gave me a pack of 10 Snickers at one point. I never asked for any of this. This was purely them going out of their way to give me leftover food that they didn't need, or that thought that was more valuable for me on my adventure. They gave me this pack of 10 Snickers bars, and in it was a sticker in the Snickers of Pele, and I stuck this sticker of Pele onto my phone, which has stayed there ever since, just as a reminder of how incredible their kindness is. This little sticker takes me back, whenever I look at it, to the mountains, to these people in Sweden, Norway and Finland. There are people that I've met there that I've travelled back to Norway to see again. I've been back to the Netherlands to meet them again. There's this wonderful family, Dutch family that I met, who regularly email me, and I've been to the Netherlands now 4 or 5 times to catch up with them. And whenever I've been, they'll offer me a place to stay. They'll happily take me out for lunch or dinner. Just these wonderful people. I wherever I can, I'll kind of emphasise just how thankful I am for the kindness out there that I met on these travels. Without these gestures, without these, even just having a warm conversation with somebody in the middle of the mountains, really lifted spirits. And I feel like without any of that, I would have really struggled to conquer the physical and mental challenges of the trip. I really do think I learned a lot. I experienced a lot while I was out there. But most importantly, I learned that kindness is king, and that people really are magic.